Criticizing is having any opinion at all, whether it's good or bad. Why have an opinion? You know, but we do. Yeah, it was interesting to see Sunim be able, you know, the floor's yellow. Is that good or bad? I'm sure some people will think, oh gosh, this is a fake paper with lacquer floor, which is true. It's a fake paper and lacquer floor. But do you want to take care of a paper and lacquer floor? That's very expensive and takes a lot of work. This is pretty easy to clean. But you can sit here, or you can just go, yellow. There was a cartoon that I really liked. It was like a newspaper cartoon, and it had different panels. You know, it would have like 4 or 5 panels. And it's called Hagar the Horrible. It's about this witch, this Western witch. She has long gray hair, and it's all shaggy, and she has a cap and a big nose, you know, a Western witch. And she wears black, and she's like pissed off all the time. And that's one of the characters. It's the only one of the whole series that I remember, because I didn't read much, but every once in a while I'd look at a comic in a newspaper and it'd stick in my head. So 2 other characters in this series is a tall guy, and then this little round guy. He's like a ball of hair with 2 eyes, 2 hands, and 2 legs. And they're like buddies, and they go around together. So in the first panel, the 2 of them are walking, and they see a flower. And the tall guy says, a flower of a deciduous plant in full bloom. And in the second frame, the 2 of them are there looking at the flower, and the little guy goes, pretty. Then in the third frame, they're looking up at the sun, and the tall guy goes, oh, the sun that gives us warmth has reached the apogee of its passage, you know, the high point of its passage. And then the little guy in the fourth frame says, pretty. No, it says sunny. Yeah, first one is pretty, second one is sunny. In the third frame, they see Hagar, and she's walking at a distance, and she's really pissed off, and you can see smoke coming out of her ears. She's so angry. And the tall guy says, a pathological personality with definite violent tendencies. And then in the sixth frame, the little one says, duck! You know, duck, like, look. Then right at that moment, Hagar sees the 2 of them and sends a lightning bolt, and it misses the little guy, and it hits the big guy, and he's like all burnt to a crisp. And in the last frame, it says, intuition 1, intellect 0. So criticism is always an intellectual or emotional choice. But intuition comes from clarity, and it's independent of those things. So anytime you notice yourself having any opinion, even a good one, you know, throw it out. Do mantra, and that will help you. One time, a guy doing a Dharma talk, I was a new Jiddo Popsa, and I was sitting next to Sunim, and Sunim wasn't giving interviews anymore by then. Around 1995 or 96, he stopped giving interviews, except to the Korean monks and the old Bolsonims at Hwagesa. But he didn't give interviews to foreigners and to his main students anymore. So he had me giving the Kongan interviews. Then one of the guys, one of the monks said, you know, Dae Bong asked me a question. I think my name was Domun at the time. Domun Sunim asked me a question, and I gave him the answer, and he said no. And as he rang the bell and I was leaving, he said, good. I don't think it was very good. Then Sunim looked at me kind of like, ha ha, you got caught. You know? So that was an opinion. You know, who knows what I was saying. When somebody's good, I'll say good, but that time I must have just been saying, who knows, maybe I had some thinking I didn't even aware of. Oh, don't worry, you tried, you know, don't feel bad or something, who knows. So be aware of all those. All criticism, it's not always negative, although we use the word that way. It could be any kind of comment, opinion. Maybe it's literally always negative. But sometimes positive is wrong too. So be aware of your own thinking as it appears, or your own emotion. But most important is that if you keep a don't know mind, you're aware of it usually. It's like Sunim used to say, when you're sitting and the floor is yellow, the floor is clear, yellow, you don't know mind is clear. So see what's appearing. And the only way to do that is not get involved in opinions, emotions, and things like that. You can't stop having them unless we really get tremendously clear, but we can see them when they appear and question them.